everybody, this is Latasha here at the Whimsical Witchy Homestead, future homestead. So let's talk a little bit about what I've noticed. I just walked from the beginning of the driveway. You see my car back there. I've learned a couple of things. The man over here has a very big dog that barks no matter if it sees you or not, and he lets his dog take a crap in the driveway. And I know that because there's a pile of crap. And I can tell by the sound of that dog that is huge. No worries. That is lot 3. That's still part of lot 3. The man over there screams at, I don't know if it's his dog or his kid. But it's okay. I'll let my rooster crow over top of that. This area here, I don't know if this back area, I think it's part of my lot. I believe that because I see a stake here, and I'm pretty sure that's signifying the start of my lot. So, if it does, this is going to be where one of the tiny homes will go. It's also big enough for a garden. I may have my chicken coop. It's big enough for all of that to go right here. And then, so we'll put a driveway. We'll put a driveway to come off this main road. It'll go in here. You can actually see kids back there playing. Looks like that will need to be removed. I don't know why they just don't burn it. But so one of the houses is going to go here. And then we're going to walk all the way over here, and I'll show you where the second one's going to go. So again, what I'm noticing is what areas are getting sun and what areas are getting shade. When I came out here this morning, watched the sun come up, that area was all sunny. I think this area stayed shady here. But again, it is fall time. The sun is not as strong. But I think that stayed shady the whole time. We're actually going to go back in there because that is my property. All of that is mine. And I see something back there at the top of my eye. So I'm going to see what that is. So I'll show you where my tiny home is going. Okay, so that's my shadow. This is where the second tiny home is going. I don't know if that would be me or my boys, but here's where the second one is going. And it's clearing right here. I'm glad they have it cleared out. Also, there is enough space, and you can see that this is all sunny. So a tiny home, an orchard, and a garden can all sit right here. What I did notice this morning, 2 things. A deer. The deer came off of this field over here. Of course, you're back into the woods. And deer poop. Deer and deer poop. And the reason why I point that out is because I've never had heavy deer pressure when gardening, and a deer will eat everything. It will eat everything in your garden. I love deers. I love little Bambis. But that's something I have to be mindful of. So here is where the other tiny home will go. And then we're going to go walk out in those woods. Let's go take a look out there. I'll show you where the pigs and the rabbits and chickens will go. So now we are walking into the actual property. There's a lot of cleaning up to do. But, there's a ton of cleaning up to do, honestly. But you just basically need somebody to come back here and scoop all this up and I would like to get all this off the bottom of the floor, but I don't want to remove the trees. I see a spider web, so I don't really want to walk that way. Hold on, let me get the spider web. Okay, so I do love this damn spider web. I love this area here because it's like a natural walking path. All of it is not, I'm trying to see if I can see the stake from here. All of this is not my property, but it stops back in here. You can actually see a stake on that tree. It's right there. That, I believe, is the end of my property line. So, I got shoes on this time. I had spider webs. I had my SpongeBob slippers on this morning. So let's go walk back here You can also see there is another stake up in that, or another little ribbon in that tree, marking the boundaries. What's really fun is this little slope right here. Now let's talk first about right here. As you can notice, my yard slopes all the way down. Not super slopey. You have all this up here. That's okay. And the pigs can go back throughout here. So the animals are going to go all back throughout here. So I don't smell them, and you know. So I'm going to pause my phone while I get a little bit closer to that hill, and we'll go look down there. Okay, so you can see it's sloping down toward the bottom, and it doesn't pick up very well on this camera, but it is super steep. It goes into like a ravine, like it drops down to a ravine, and then it shoots back up. I'm trying to find an opening where you can see that part at, but you can see it goes way down there. Let's go down there. I'll show you how steep it is going back up. Okay, so if you get an idea, you can see it go down, and if you look, you can see it go back up. Well, up there. That is still part of my property. Let's walk a little bit closer. Okay, here we go. So now this is what they call the stream. You see there's no, I broke my stick. There's no water in there. So I hardly count it as a stream. I think it just catches runoff water. Because as you can tell, it is empty. It's dry. There's nothing in there. Probably haven't had any rain either. But you can see it goes all the way down. And it kind of just, so that's pretty cool. But you can see the little path that it makes right there. It comes down off of that up there. This is all my property. This is also, I believe, part of my property. Let me zoom back. See, it goes down and it goes up. That is still my property. I believe. Whether it is or not, it's not something I'm going to use just because, I mean, I'm not going to use that part. We'll let the deer do their thing out there. But this is mine. My 4.5 acres. Now I have to tackle that behemoth hill. Yay! Let's take a look at this up. So even though it's heavily treed, you still see the light coming into this lot. It's going to be great to put my animals back here because all the shade. So yeah, now I have to tackle this big old hill again. So I just kind of wanted to show you my future homestead.